Greetings, fellow ukuleleans. Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. I'd like to start a new series today, and basically it's how to practice. We oftentimes get told by a music teacher, if you're taking ukulele lessons, guitar lessons, piano lessons, vocal lessons, they say practice, practice, practice. And that's all well and good, and they sometimes give you stuff to practice, but they sometimes don't tell you how to practice. And that's the topic of today, is how to practice. And this is going to be a long series. Today's going to be the first chapter of it, entitled Warm Up. So we're going to just talk about warming up, an important part of any practice routine, something we all need to keep in mind. If you're starting to do something, especially something strenuous, and you haven't warmed up, you're going to hurt yourself. I have personal experience with this. So you definitely want to warm up, just like you would if you went to the gym and you were going to do some pretty rigorous stuff. You got to stretch, you got to warm up. Same with playing a musical instrument, same with jogging, you name it, all that stuff, martial arts, etc. So let's get into it. That first thing you heard me playing, I call that the Filomena Moretti exercise. That's a good way to warm up. I'll explain why it's called the Filomena Moretti exercise in a minute, but I just want to give you a brief outline of these chapters that we're going to do. And I'm not going to name each and every chapter. There's going to be a lot of them, but this first one is warming up. Later on, we're going to talk about chords, trying to go for clear chords and good smooth chord changes and speed up your ability to change chords, which I know a lot of people tell me is a problem, keeping up and getting left in the dust by the tempo sometimes if they're playing in a group or trying to play with a record. We're going to talk about scales. We're going to talk about techniques like hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides. We're going to talk about learning songs, practicing songs, developing a repertoire, having a song that you can count on, for instance, being able to walk into a place and be handed a ukulele and somebody says, hey, play me a song, and you'll have at least one song that you can play from memory, that you can play all the way through. That's an important part of practicing. It all comes down to how you practice. So we'll be going over this over the next several videos. So warm-ups, chapter 1, here we go. That Filomena Moretti exercise is basically something to get your left hand going. It really warms it up. But before you even do a warm-up exercise on your instrument, without your instrument, you should be doing a couple of stretches. And I'll do this with my left hand for demonstration purposes, but you really want to do it with both hands. So the stop sign is simply you extend your arm, and your fingers are pointing down towards the floor. Then you bend your wrist upward so that the palm of your hand is facing out away from you like this. Kind of like halt, stop, like that kind of gesture. So you go like that. You can even do it from a stationary position where you have your arm sticking out in front of you and you just do it like that. And you want to do 10 of those. You'll feel a little cracking in your wrist going on there. That's good. So you're stretching those tendons that work your fingers. Our fingers don't have muscles in them, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but there are no muscles in your fingers. It's really just the tendon pulling it like a pulley or a rope. And so it's all about those tendons getting stretched out. So that helps you relax. Of course, breathing helps you relax. You want to always take a deep breath and breathe while you're doing these stretching exercises and as you're practicing your instrument and as you're performing. You want to remember to breathe. Nice breath through the nose and inhale. You can exhale through your mouth if you want. You can inhale and exhale with your nose. But what they say not to do is take a gulp of air with your mouth and breathe out also through your mouth. That mouth breathing isn't the best way to bring oxygen to the parts of your body that need oxygen when you're playing an instrument. They say an intake through the nose is the best. And that helps you relax too, centers you. All right. How you sit in your chair makes a huge difference. You need a comfortable chair. It has to be the right height. It has to be the right width. It has to be comfortable. Whatever you have to do. If you have to put pillows on your chair, padding, foam, whatever, books, whatever you have to put on your chair to make it all good. And your feet, flat on the floor in front of you if you can. Spread probably about the length of or the width of the chair. So wherever the chair legs are, your legs should be right around there. So no slouching in your chair. Stand up straight or sit up straight, and make sure your back is relaxed. Be aware of your neck, your face. Our face tends to hold a lot of tension, and we're not even aware of it. But if you can relax your face a little bit, Relax your whole neck and your chest and your whole body. Just keep it loose and floppy and relaxed. That's the way to go, while maintaining some good posture. All right, so let's say we're warmed up, we're stretched out, we're sitting good, we're breathing good, we're ready to play. Here's that Filomena Moretti exercise. And she's a classical guitar player from Sardinia. And I watched a video of hers that showed her warming up backstage, and I stole this exercise from her. It's a classical guitar exercise, but it works great on the uke too. So what we're doing is we're plucking our open A string with however you pluck. If you pluck like this with your index and middle, go for it. If you pluck with your thumb, use that. If you pluck with a pick, use that. Whatever works for you. There's a million different ways to pick. We're not really talking about picking right now. We're talking about our left hand warming up. So we play our open A string, first fret with the first finger, second fret with the second finger, third fret with the third finger, and fourth fret with the fourth finger. Now that's pretty simple to understand probably, but there's a couple of little nuances in there. And one of those is you want to keep your fingers very close to the string. You do not want to lift your fingers really high off and then have to come all the way down to get to the string. You want to keep your fingers hovering above approximately where they're about to play. And that way you hardly have to move. You're being very efficient. That's the way to go. Efficient. All right. And then also, once you've placed a finger on the fretboard, leave it there. Don't lift it. When you go to play with your next finger, you do not lift the finger that's already there. And when you go to play with the next finger, you do not lift those other two guys. You leave them down. And then when you go to play with your pinky, do not lift anything. So you got 4 fingers on the string right now. That's the way to go, with your thumb nice and centered in the back of the neck. Not squeezing though. You're not squeezing the life out of the instrument. You're just supporting your hand with your thumb back there.